वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरावनचारी यमुना तीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे जय प्रभुपद जय प्रभुपद जय प्रभुपद जय गुरुदेवा गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा। हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। Yeah. Hare Krishna. Sorry for the delay. There was actually power cut. Yeah. We'll be reading from third canto, 25th chapter, 21st verse. Third canto, 25th chapter, 21st verse. This is Kapil Dev actually instructing Devoti. So this is the third canto, 25th chapter. We'll try to read from here. Yeah. Titiksava, tolerant, Karunika, merciful, Shushudra, friendly, Sarva Dehinam, to all living entities, Ajata Shatrava, inimical to none, Shantaha, peaceful, Shad, Shadhava, abiding by scriptures, Sadhu Bhushana, adorned with sublime characters. Yeah, let's read the verse now. Titikshava karunanika Shrudha sarvadehinam ajata shatravaha shanta shadhava sadhu bhushana titikshava karunika shrurad sorry Shruridhaya sarvadehinam ajata shatrava shanta shadhava sadhu bhushana titikshava karunika shrudhaya sarvadehina. Yeah. Titikshava karunika Shrudhava Sharvadehinam Ajata Shatrava Shanta Shadhava Sadhu Bhushana Titikshava Karunika Shruddha Sarvadehinam Shruhridhaya. It is Shruhridhaya Sarvadehinam Ajata Shatrava Shanta Shadava Sadhu Bhushana. Yeah. Translation and purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The symptoms of the sadhu are that he is tolerant, merciful, and friendly to all living entities. He has no enemies. He is peaceful. He abides by the scriptures, and his characters are sublime. Purport. A sadhu, as described above, is a devotee of the Lord. His concern, therefore, is to enlighten people in devotional service to the Lord. That is his mercy. He knows that without devotional service to the Lord, human life is spoiled. A devotee travels all over the country from the door to door preaching, be Krishna consciousness. Be a devotee of Lord Krishna. Don't spoil your life in simply fulfilling your animal propensities. Human life is meant for self-realization or Krishna consciousness. There are preachings of the sadhu. These are the preachings of the sadhu. He is not satisfied with his own liberation. He always thinks about others. He is the most compassionate personality towards all the fallen souls. One of his qualifications, therefore, is Karunika, great mercy to fallen souls. While engaged in preaching work, he has to meet with so many opposing elements, and therefore the sadhus or devotees of the Lord has to be tolerant. Someone may ill-treat him because the conditioned souls are not prepared to receive the transcendental knowledge of devotional service. They do not like it. That is their disease. The sadhu has the thankless task of impressing upon them importance of devotional service. Sometimes devotees are personally attacked with violence. Lord Jesus Christ was crucified. Hardas Thakur was caned in 21 marketplaces. And Lord Chaitanya, principal assistant Nityananda, was violently attacked by Jagai and Madai. But still they were tolerant because their mission was to deliver the fallen soul. One of the qualifications of sadhu that he is very tolerant and is merciful to all the fallen souls. He is merciful because he is the well-wisher of all living entities. He is the only well-wisher of human society, but a well-wisher of animal, not but also the well-wisher of animal society as well. It is it is said here, Sarvadehinam indicates that all living entities who have accepted material bodies. Not only does the human beings have material bodies, but other living entities such as cats and dogs also have material bodies. The devotees of the Lord is merciful to everyone, the cats, dogs, trees, etc. He treats every living entity in such a way that they can ultimately get salvation from these material entanglements. Shivananda Sen, one of the disciples of Lord Chaitanya, gave the liberation to the dog by treating a dog transcendentally. There are many instances where a dog got salvation by the association with the sadhu, because a sadhu engages in highest philanthropic activities for the benediction of all living entities. Yet, although a sadhu is not inimical towards anyone, the world is so ungrateful that even a sadhu has many enemies. What is the difference between an enemy and a friend? It is the difference in behavior. A sadhu behaves with all conditions for their ultimate relief from material entanglements. Therefore, no one can more friendly than sadhu in relieving a conditioned soul. A sadhu is calm and quiet and peaceful, follows the principles of scripture. A sadhu means one who follows the principles of scriptures and at the same time is the devotee of the Lord. One who actually follows the principles of scriptures must be a devotee of the Lord, because all the shastras instruct us to obey the orders of the personality of Godhead. Sadhu therefore means a follower of scriptural injunctions, and a devotee of the Lord. All these characteristics are prominent in a devotee. A devotee develops all good qualities of the demigods, whereas a non-devotee, even though academically qualified, has no actual good qualifications or good characters according to the standards of transcendental realization. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjala Chakshuram Mitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Shri Vishaka Vitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hare Priye Vancha Kalpatarabhasa Kripa Sindhubhyo Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Kaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Karoti Vachalam Sangam Nangam Yatkripa Vande Shri Guru Dhiratanam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Apastarapatyo Sarvavastangato Atmadre Darikasha Vastam. Yeah, Hare Krishna. Thank you all for joining this for the reading of Srimad Bhagavatam. So, and I thank you for the opportunity given, though I am not qualified. I will try to repeat the words of Srila Prabhupada, His Holiness Bhakti Rasamrit Swami Maharaj, and all, and in glorification of His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj. So I'll try to repeat their words. I do not have any qualification, and thank you, Lilananda Prabhu, Subara Prabhuji, and Praveen Prabhuji, and also Santoshadishya Prabhuji for enabling this, and giving me this service actually. So I do not have any qualification. Please bless me so that I can glorify the Krishna and the devotees. I can read the Bhagavatam, and it's only for my purification. Yeah, starting with this, actually, this verse, little bit of background or whatever it may be. So to set the background, context, to set the context, actually, this chapter is about the glories of the devotional service. The glories of the devotional service. So, and here the Kapilita is instructing his mother Devoti, the glories of devotional service, actually. So the Devoti is actually asking the questions to Kapila. So, and Kapila is giving the instructions. So it doesn't mean that Devoti doesn't know, actually. So Devoti is actually asking questions and get the messages, or try to get the understandings of this, and also that actually we can understand. So she is already she's the mother of Kapila Dev, right? So she has already much realization, but these all questions is being asked by the Devoti, right? Devoti, because we not is so that we can understand, actually. So Kapil Dev is instructing Devoti here, and there are various messages given by the Kapila Dev to the Devoti in this particular verse, and in this particular chapter of glories of the devotional service. To give more of the background, this 21st verse to 24th verse is actually about the qualities of the sadhu. All right, it's about the qualities of the sadhu. Prior to this verse, the 20th verse is about actually where the Prabhupada or the Prabhupada is saying that Srimad Bhagavatam, the Prabhupada is saying we have to take the association of the sadhus. Okay, so we have to take the association of sadhus. But from 21 to 24, we have just read 21. 21 to 24 is to recognize how to recognize the sadhu, actually. So this verse tells about the qualities of the sadhu, so that we can recognize him. So sadhu is is nothing but a devotee also, right? So sadhu who has this quality is known as a devotee or a sadhu. All these qualities which we will discussing in this verse, or which we just read now, on the verse, like Karunika, then Titikshava. Okay, these all are the various qualities of the sadhu or a devotee, actually. So this this verse going forward up to 24 expresses all the qualities of the sadhu. And 25th verse gives the results of the association, or it's actually when we associate with the sadhus, what would be the result? Okay, so that is about the 25th verse. So now we are in 21st verse, where it is the qualities of the sadhus has been discussed and all. Okay, yeah. So all the sadhus are actually walking and talking manifestations of the scriptures. Okay, if you see anyone, the Srila Prabhupada or any of the Maharaj, they are all walking and talking of the scriptures. They're actually personifications of scriptures actually. So this chapter of glories of devotional service or Kapiladev instructions to Devagati is all about the Sankhya Yoga. Okay, where Sankhya Yoga is about the spirit and matter. So this is being discussed actually. It is not actually different from the Bhakti Yoga. Okay, so it's a part of Bhakti Yoga, right? Because Sankhya Yoga is basically analysis or description that we try to understand. We try to understand the root cause of the Bhakti Yoga. So the root cause which we are actually root cause which we are analyzing actually is nothing but a transcendental, or it is nothing but it is a transcendental, it is nothing but a supreme lord actually. So that's why this Sankhya Yoga is also a part of the Bhakti Yoga. There is a connection actually. So there is a connection. Yoga means the connection. So Sankhya Yoga is also connected to the Bhakti Yoga, because root cause itself is transcendental, and it actually denotes the Supreme Lord. Okay, so root cause of all these material existence. So when we understand the root cause of all the material existence, then we'll try to fix it, right? So that we try to fix it. That is nothing but the purpose of the life, right? That is nothing but a purpose of life. So when we understand the root cause of the material existence, and when we try to fix it, that is nothing but a realization, right? Realization are that we are perfecting our human life actually. So it is actually the what we said. Yeah. So it is actually the purpose or final goal of the life, right? That is what we do. That is what the final process we follow, and then that is what the final goal of the life. So being Krishna consciousness is the ultimate necessity actually. So here the qualities of sadhu is being explained so that we can recognize who is the real sadhu and take their association, right? So that is what it means. Now we'll go on to that verse and try to understand deeply what Prabhupada has said and all. So here the connection of root, for example, connection of the root. If you take a gardener, right? If some gardener wants to fix the tree, actually he has to find out the root. So when he find out that root, right, when he find out that root, and we try to give the water to that root, right? We try to give the water to that root, then that tree is actually nourished and all. Okay, so that so that is the thing. So here the Sankhya Yoga also is is about the root cause actually. When we understand the root cause and try to root cause and try to fix it, or to connect this root of this material existence, and try to perform Bhakti Yoga, then that is what the highest purpose of the life. So Bhakti Yoga cannot be done unless you have the root material existence. So we have to understand that Bhakti Yoga can be only done when we have understood the root only. Then only it can be performed. So here, so we all are in the material world, and we are struggling with material and with the material in this material world. We are all entangled actually. So what is the solution? So solution here is giving Krishna consciousness, right? So only by way of being Krishna consciousness, right? Only by being Krishna consciousness, we can only achieve the purpose of the life, right? So that is what. So here what these sadhus are doing, they are actually merciful, right? Karunika, right? Karunika. So karunika, the word means merciful. Okay, so merciful. Yeah, here here actually the whoever the sadhus or devotees are traveling, right, from the door to door to enlighten the devotional service, to enlighten about the devotional service, to give the purpose of the life, to give us the understanding of the purpose of the life. So we have the various examples like Nityananda Prabhu, right? Went every door to door to give Harinam, right? To give Harinam to everybody. So we can see these same kind of characters in the all the sadhus actually, because they are concerned, right? They know that everybody is suffering in this material world. So and they are concerned actually, and they are compassionate to every living entity. Okay, so they wants to they wants to give Krishna consciousness to other. They are not actually worried about their own liberation actually. So they are compassionate actually to others, and they just want to give Krishna consciousness to others. So that's why they are merciful actually. So they mercifully wants to give Krishna's consciousness to others. That's why they travel from place to place. If you see sadhus of any uh, of any sampradayas, they generally travel, right? So sadhus generally travel to give Krishna consciousness to others, and because they are merciful, they know the suffering of the human beings. That's why they try to give Krishna consciousness and all. But this mercifulness, there are three kinds of mercifulness. Can be also in sattva, it can be also in rajo and tamas, right? For example, in tamas, for example, if example of drunkard, right? If a drunkard is suffering actually because there is no supply of alcohol, okay, and somebody is actually in compassionate in tamo actually, and try to supply this alcohol to this drunkard, feeling that this drunkard is short of alcohol. So if we try to if somebody is trying to supply this alcohol to this drunkard, right? That is mercifulness in the tamas actually, but it is not actually real compassion. The real compassion is actually is to bring out this conditioned soul from the actual problem. So that from the actual form, so understands. So one who understands everyone's suffering, right? One who understands and everyone's suffering and try to give Krishna consciousness, right? Then that is the real sadhu, right? So Prahlad Maharaj example, Prahlad Maharaj also says, right? Says that engage everyone in chanting, right? In chanting the glories of the Lord. So this is being said because everyone in this material world, we can see that everyone is suffering actually in this material world due to material entanglements and all. So the only solution is giving Krishna conscious to them. So that's why these sadhus are merciful in giving this the names of the Lord, names of the Lord, the names, pastimes, fames, and all to the Lord, so that they can chant, and they can chant the glories of the Lord, and they can become Krishna consciousness and all. Okay, so there is an example of, we can see many things, like we see the example of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada, he was traveling till the last moment. So he was merciful Acharya. He was merciful Acharya. He wanted to give Krishna consciousness to the West and all, not only West, to all the, including India and all. So he was merciful Acharya. So he know the sufferings of the human beings, right? He knows the sufferings of everyone, right? That's why he wants to give this Krishna consciousness to everybody, right? So so he traveled. He traveled. He traveled all over the world till this last moment, giving the Krishna consciousness and all. So that is what, and we can see this. There was once Bhakti, His Holiness Bhakti Rasamrita Swami Maharaj was glorifying about the qualities of Bhakti Charu Maharaj and all. So the Maharaj, Rasamrit Swami Maharaj says, actually Bhakti Charu Maharaj also has these qualities actually. So he also traveled all over the world for these welfare activities, right? So this is for these welfare activities. The highest actually the highest welfare activity is giving Krishna consciousness, is highest welfare activity, right? We all know about it. So Bhakti Charu Maharaj used to travel to give this for this welfare activities actually. So that. So what happens the next? What happens the next when the sadhu is karunika? Okay, when the sadhu is, I'm just sharing my screen. When the sadhu is karunika, then naturally, then there would be the many opposing elements actually. Okay, so many opposing elements, because when we try to give the holy names of the Lord or Harinam, or when we try to give the Krishna consciousness, right? Many of the people do not accept it, or many of the people there would be the many opposing elements. That is what Srila Prabhupada says in the purport. So there could be the many opposing elements, because nobody wants the others or sadhus to involve in their personal matters, because they are sense gratified. They want to enjoy in this material world, right? So when sadhus are being the karunika, they are merciful and in giving the holy names also, but there are some situations, or there are some opposing elements, right? Opposing elements which actually opposes these kinds of activities, the welfare activities and all, right? So for example, we see that there are some. This example is given by the Rasamrit Swami Maharaj, because he gives one example where a Matajis, right? Some Matajis are into Krishna consciousness, and they have to cook some non-vegetarian in their house, because the others may not be into Krishna consciousness. Whole family may not be into Krishna consciousness, but due to some this thing, taste and all, Mataji would be in Krishna consciousness and all. But they have to cook for some reason to satisfy the family members. They have to cook the non-vegetarian for the other family of one Mataji actually. So she had to cook the non-vegetarian for the others and all. So she had to be tolerant. Titikshava. Okay, titikshava means tolerant. So in the process of being Krishna consciousness, right? In the process of being Krishna consciousness, she had to be tolerant. She had to be tolerant to continue into Krishna consciousness. She had to cook the non-vegetarians for the others and all. So, and not only that, she had to chant also. She had to chant very secretly, because others in the family do not appreciate the Krishna consciousness and all, right? So they do not appreciate Krishna consciousness. Why? Why? Because they are materially, they're materially situated. Actually, they are conditioned. They are conditioned, and they are more diseased and all. No? In terms of material conditioning, they are more diseased, right? So that's why they do not want to take up, or they do not want to want others to take up, because that will impact their enjoyment and all. So now this example which of the Matajis actually who are into Krishna consciousness, and they have to cook for the others actually, non-vegetarian and all. That Matajis will be tolerant, actually tolerant in pursuing their Krishna consciousness activities and all. So similarly, not only the Mataji, similarly the sadhus actually. Okay, so even when they are merciful, they have to be tolerant also. So they come across the titikshava. They come across many situations, right, where where which are not conducive actually for Krishna consciousness. So that's why people create many situations where situations, so that it would be difficult for the sadhu or the devotee actually to give the Krishna consciousness. Okay, so it is a thankless job of a sadhu or a devotee, right? That is what the Prabhupada. So he has to be tolerant and and it is his job is thankless. Giving the names, giving the holy name mercifully also is a thankless job of a sadhu actually. So that is what the Prabhupada explains. Prabhupada also explains the example of Jesus Christ, right? Jesus Christ was crucified, right? But Jesus Christ even though Jesus Christ used to say that, please forgive these persons, because they are committing the mistakes, or committing sins without knowing and all. Right? Even Haridas Thakur is one more example which Prabhupada is giving here. Right? Prabhupada, Haridas Thakur also was beaten up in 21 marketplaces and all. Right? So that is one more example the Prabhupada is giving. Even Nityananda Prabhu, right? Nityananda Prabhu was being attacked by Jagai and Madai, right? Jagai and Madai, when Nityananda Prabhu was trying to give the holy names of the Lord, right? So Jagai and Madai, the most sinful persons, right? So were attacking him and try to beat him actually. So from this we can understand. So sadhus has to be tolerant actually. Sadhus are devotees has to be tolerant. So they cannot even though they can understand that this every living entity is suffering in this material world, but they have to be tolerant actually, because in giving this merciful, giving these holy names, though they are merciful, because the outside world is opposing, actually opposing. There are many such opposing elements and all. Okay, so sadhu is non-enemical. That is what being and mentioned here, right? So sadhu is so yeah. So sadhu actually is non-enemical to anybody, right? Is non-enemical to anybody, but in this process of giving the Krishna consciousness to others, right? And others, they have many enemies. Actually, from their side, they do not have enemies, but others will treat sadhu as inimical, actually, because they do not want to involve. They do not want the sadhus or devotees to involve in their sense enjoyment and all. So in that way, the sadhus will have many enemies, but personally, from their side, there is no enmity. Actually, they are actually merciful and all. Okay, that is what being explained, right? Yeah, yeah. And next, Shru Hridaya. So it is about the Shu and Hridaya. Shu means good, and Hridaya means the wishes in the heart, right? Hridaya means wishes in the heart. So Su means good. So who has good wishes in the heart. So sadhus has this quality. So we are talking about the qualities of the sadhu, right? Mercifulness, tolerant. Now one more quality, Suhrudaya, means good wishes in their heart. So these sadhus are always wishing. The sadhus are always wishing good about others and all. They do not have any enmity. They are actually friendly to everyone, right? So these are all the qualities of the sadhus, right? We see the example of Srila Prabhupada is a sadhu, right? We see in all the letters which Srila Prabhupada has written, right? He used to write, "Your ever well wisher," right? You were ever well wisher. So see, Srila Prabhupada is Suhridaya. So he is good. He is good. Su means good, and Hridaya means his heart was full of wishes, good wishes, actually. So was wishing. He was wishing good about others, actually. So that's why. So he used to write in every letters to his devotee, actually, "You are ever well wisher," right? So he was actually genuine well wisher, actually. That's why he used to write that. So he was Suhridaya. Similarly, Bhakti Rasamrita Samri Maharaj also glorifies Bhakti Charu Maharaj, actually, because he also says that Bhakti Charu Maharaj is also is Suhrudaya, actually. He is non-envious. Actually, Maharaj used to glorify everyone and used to appreciate every others without any hesitation. Without any hesitation, he used to be free from actually jealousy and all. Used to hypocrisy and all. So he used to glorify others without hesitation and all. So these qualities all, right? These all good qualities. These all the sadhus are the Maharaj. These all devotees actually have, right? So that yeah. So these are the qualities of sadhus, actually. So this we can see these kind of good qualities, right, in Srila Prabhupada and Bhakti Charu Maharaj and all, right? And but for that matter, any Maharaj we can see these qualities and all, right? So that is about the Shru Hridaya. Then going forward, Sarva Dehinam. So Sarva Dehinam. So Sarva Dehinam means to all living entities. So the mercifulness is not only particular to human beings actually. So mercifulness is regarded for the animals and also human beings, right? It is extended to all the living entities. So Prabhupada is here clearly saying that it is for Sarvadehinam is for human society and for also animal kingdom. Whatever it may be, not only animals, trees, everything. So this compassion is not only for the human beings, for all the animals also. So these sadhus are compassionate to all. And Prabhupada also gives the example, right? Example of Shivananda Swami, who is associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who tried to liberate this dog as well. So we can say many examples, like we can see the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, while he was traveling through Jharkhand forest, he was giving the holy name to the animals and all. So he was merciful even to animals, trees and all. So compassion or sarvadhinam, which here here in the Bhagavatam, which is being referred, right? It is extended to animals, trees, everywhere. So it doesn't mean that only human beings and all, right? So everyone is suffering in this material world, not only cats and dogs, even animals. So this mercifulness should be extended to every living entity. Okay, so every living entity. So these qualities which the sadhus has, right? So we can see that Bhakti Charu Maharaj, same example. So he was not, he did not have any partiality to his disciples and all. So he used to give all the time. He used to give all the time, equal time actually, without any differentiation to his devotees, also to other disciples actually, to his disciples, sorry, and other disciples also. So he did not give any differentiation that he is my disciple, I have to give so much of time. He is others, is somebody's disciple, I should not give. So he was not differentiating anyone. So, but we can see in this material world, right? We see this person is belongs to my community, so I should be partial. So that kind of favor is not done by the sadhus. They are equal to everyone and all. So we can see the great acharyas also following this. So they are not partial to any community. There are any, even for their disciples and all. So they will treat equally to everyone, and they glorify others also, right? So that is what the character of the sadhu. So they they are giving this holy name to Sarvadehina. Okay, so Sarvadehina. So not only for the human beings, for all the living entities, and they are not partial to anyone, right? And they are not envious. They glorify and appreciate others' good qualities without any hesitation and all, right? So that is what. And yeah, then we move on to the Sarvadehina. Ajata Shat, Ajata Shat, Ajata Shastrava, inimical to none. So we try to understand these sadhus are not inimical to anyone actually, because they are merciful and they want to give the Krishna conscious to everybody. But in this process of giving mercy, but others becomes envious to sadhus and all. So but these sadhus are not they are not ajata Shatru actually. They are not Ajata Shatra for anyone, but but others might be inimical to them because they are fiddling with their sense enjoyment and all, right? So they are Shanta, they are peaceful actually. This is one more quality of the sadhu. They are peaceful. Shanta means peaceful. So they are peaceful. Hmm? This is one more quality of the sadhus. And then yes, sadhava. Sadhava means abiding by the scriptures. These sadhus are follows the scriptures actually, follows the principles given in the scriptures, right? So this sadhus follows these principles given in scriptures. That's why actually they do not actually act whimsically. They follow what is given in the scriptures. So they are abiding by the scriptures. So they are abiding by that triangle of sadhu shastras, right? Sadhu shastra, sadhu guru shastra and all. So when they are following the scriptures actually, it's that means that they are not acting whimsically and abiding the scriptures and all, right? So that is what. And when they are following the scriptures, Prabhupada explains well actually. When they are following the scriptures, they are actually devotees. That is what Prabhupada writes in the purport actually. So when one is following the scriptures, they automatically are called as a devotee, because the scriptures when is about, we all know that the scriptures is for attaining the Krishna consciousness, right? Every scripture is to what all the scriptures are given is to become Krishna consciousness, right? It is for only two things. It is only to, all the scriptures are for remembering Krishna, right? For remembering and never forgetting Krishna, right? When they follow the scriptures, that means they are trying to remember the Krishna, or they are trying to when they are following the principles of scripture, that means they are they are not trying to forget of the Krishna, or never trying to they are trying to actually remember the Krishna, right? Hmm. So that is, so whoever follows the scripture is a devotee, right? So these sadhus are, since they are following the scriptures, they are the devotees of the Lord, right? So they are devotees of the Lord, and that is what the Prabhupada mentions here in the purport. Okay, I'm not remembering. There is one sloka. There is there is one sloka, Satatam Kirtayanto Mam. So Satatam Kirtayanto Mam. Yeah. In that sloka actually, so Vishnu, so Vishnu Smaranam. So so every scriptures are for remembering the Krishna. So to glorify Krishna and to remember Smaranam, to remember about Krishna, right? So so all the scriptures who follow all the persons who follow the principles of the scriptures actually are are in line with scriptures. They are following the sadhu shastra, guru sadhu shastra and all. So they are the devotees so of the Lord. So these are the characters of the sadhu actually, right? And next sadhu, yeah, Sadhu Bhushana. Next is yes, is Sadhu Bhushana. So here Sadhu Bhushana is adorned with sublime characteristics. Adorned with sublime characteristics. Sadhu Bhushana. Sadhu Bhushana means the ornaments. So Sadhu Bhushana. So these ornaments of the sadhus are what are the ornaments of the sadhus? It's not the nice clothes or jewelries jewelry are the ornament, are not the ornaments of the sadhus. The good qualities are the ornaments of the sadhus. Whatever the qualities we discussed, right? The mercifulness, right? Karunika, titikshava, right? Mercifulness, then tolerant. Titikshava means tolerant, right? They are Shruridhaya. They are friendly, right? Friendly to all the living entities, and they are not inimical to anyone, and they are Shanta, they are peacefulness. So tolerant, peacefulness, mercifulness, right? So they abide by the scriptures. So these are all the characteristics of the sadhus, right? These all the characters of the sadhus, where the sadhus are adorned to these characteristics, right? So ornaments of the sadhus actually is these characteristics. That it's not it's a good clothes or good clothes or good other ornaments, jewelry, gold and all. So that is what. So good qualities are the ornaments of the sadhus, right? These good qualities are the characters of the demigod. That is what being Prabhupada being mentioned in the purport and all. So for the non-devotees, actually maybe the good dresses, right, are something gold and all, right? Even Prabhupada mentions that education, material education, also material education is also the bhushanam, is also ornament for the material, the material for the non-devotee. That is he mentions here. Okay. So that we can that is given here somewhere. Yeah. So yeah. So Prabhupada is mentioning here the sadhus, the bhushanam or the ornament of the sadhu actually. So it is the ornament of the sadhu is actually good characteristics. Where unlike the in the non-devotee, the ornament would be the clothes, gold and all. But sadhus, these all qualities would are the ornament of the sadhus. So in this verse actually it is being explained that the symptoms of the sadhus are tolerant, mercifulness, friendly, merciful, friendly to all living entities, and they are not inimical to anyone, and they are peaceful. They abide by the scriptures, and these are the sublime characteristics of the sadhu that is being mentioned here. Okay. So in connection, there is also similar verse in Bhagavad Gita actually, which Bhagavad Gita 12th chapter 13th and 13th verse actually, Adveshta Sarva Bhutanam Maitreya Karuna Evacha Nirmamo Nirankara Samadukha Sukha uh, Samadukha Sukha Kashami. So here Adveshta is non-envious, right? Sarva Bhutanam, for non-envious for the Sarva Bhutanam. So the sadhus are non-envious for Sarva Bhutanam, means non-envious for all the living entities, right? Not only the human beings, but also all the human entities, for all the living entities. Maitreya, right? Friendship. Karuna, kindliness, right? Kindly. Evacha, right? Nirma, without sensing proprietorship. Nirmahama, without sensing proprietorship. And Nirankara, without false, right? Without false. Samadukha Sukha Kshami, right? Samadukha means equal in distress and happiness. Kshami, forgiving all. So these are the characters of the sadhus, which is given in the this is relating verse to this actually, where it is also saying the characteristics of a sadhu actually is a non-envious sarvabhutanam. Here sarvabhutanam is being mentioned. Here sarvadehinam, towards all the living entities. Here sarvabhutanam, which is same actually, sarvadehinam. So so this is also connection verse actually to Bhagavatam, where one who is not envious but kind friend to all the living entities, who does not think himself proprietor and is free from all false ego, who is equal to both happiness and distress, who is tolerant, is always satisfied, self-controlled, and engaged in devotional service with determination, his mind and intelligence fixed on me. Such a devotee of mine is dear to me. These are the again the characteristics of the sadhus actually. So this is what. So just to go, I'll go on to the verse 20 actually. Go on to verse 20 where prasanganam ajaram pasham, right? Here it is being said that attachment actually is strong. Attachment in this material world is strong, and it is getting us to entanglement, right? It is binding us in this material world, or we are entangled to this material world. Prasangam ajaram pasham, right? Atmana kavyo vidhu, right? Kavyo vidhu means this here learned means, right? Vidhu, kavyo vidhu. So we are entangled to this material world. See, everybody is in this material world are entangled. So there are two things we have to understand here. So we just read this translation and try to recap and try to understand and finish it. Yeah. See, every learned man knows very well that attachment for the material is the greatest entanglement of the spirit soul. But same attachment, when applied to the self-realized devotees, opens the door of liberation. Moksha dvaram apavritam. So in the previous verse, actually 20 verse, actually it is said that attachment is in this material world, so we will have attachment. We cannot avoid attachment. So we have to have attachment, but we have to think whether we have to be materially attached for the worldly things, or we have to be attached to this right things like sadhu and all. Because sadhu gives the liberation, right? Moksha dvaram apavritam, right? So moksha dvaram apavritam. Sadhu, when we are attached to the sadhu, then he gives liberation. So that is the thing. So attachment, when we are in this conditioned life, so avoiding attachment is not possible. So the solution is we have to attach to something. So attachment to worldly things will make us entanglement. If attachment to the sadhus or association of the sadhus will give liberation and all. So for knowing that who is the sadhu, sir, we have to attach to sadhu, right? That is what we know. So right, from these words we can understand the sadhus can give liberation. So we should not attach to worldly things or material things, because they gives us material entanglement, right? But sadhu gives the liberation, so we have to attach the sadhu. So to know who is the sadhu, we have to. That's why we have read the characteristics of sadhu in the verse number 21 actually. So these are the characters of the sadhu. So when we find these characters in the sadhu or devotee, we should try to associate. So here the practical application here would be, we should see that try to see these characteristics in the devotee, right? Who is a devotee or sadhu, right? These characteristics: mercifulness, karunaka, the titikshava, tolerant, right? Then shuvridhaya, the devotee or sadhu who has good wishes who is carrying the good wishes in the heart, right? Who is sarvadehina, who is actually equally poised to every living entity, and who is actually following the principles of the scriptures, and all, right? So, and who is peaceful and all, right? So such kind of characters, we have to associate with a person who's having such kind of characters, so that that good characters imbibes in us actually. So these are the qualities of the sadhus, which is being discussed from 21 to 24. So that's why we have to take association of the sadhus, and when we take the association of the sadhus, we achieve Krishna consciousness, we achieve the ultimate goal, right? Ultimate goal of life, which is nothing but a prayojana aspects and all. So we started with discussion with the Sankhya Yoga, right? We started the discussion with the Sankhya Yoga. So we are trying to find out or analyze the root cause, which is nothing but a connection to Bhakti Yoga, because yoga is there. So understand this, analyze that. When we understand the root cause, then we'll try to fix it. So that is what the Bhakti Yoga. So when we know who am I, and who is the God, right? Who is the God, and what is this material thing, what is spiritual and all. So when we know it, right? When we know it, when we follow the processes, then we get the prayojana, and we get the ultimate benefit of Krishna consciousness. So that is given in the verse 25th, actually, verse 25th of this Bhagavatam chapter. So that is what. So when we try to associate with the sadhus, we get these characteristics, we get these qualities. So what are the sadhus qualities? We try to understand here. We have tried to understand here. So that is what. So yeah. So it's about trying to understand the qualities of the sadhus, only because to take the association. So the practical application here is, we have to find out the who has these characters, and try to associate with them, so that become the Krishna consciousness and achieve the ultimate goal of life, purpose of life, and all. So that is what the practical application lesson and the examples all we have we have also seen various examples, like we have personally seen examples of merciful sadhu Srila Prabhupada, where he used to write all your ever well-wisher to in all these letters to the devotees. He is actually a real well-wisher, or he is actually Suhridaya actually. So that's why he used to write your ever well-wisher, and he was they were all merciful to all the living entities. Thank you all, and sorry for there was some power cut and all. Yeah, you can open up and ask any questions or comments if you have any.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Yeah.
Thank you.
Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for a wonderful lecture. Prabhuji, I have one question. You mentioned, right, even sometimes sadhus also will have enemies, right? So how do we consider this one? Like when sadhus who treat everybody equally, but still they have enemies, right? So is it because of their own karma, or because we all know that everybody, all the jivas are just instruments, they just act according to God's will or something. So when sadhus are faced by enemies, should we consider this as because of their past karma, or it's just a leela of the Supreme Lord?
I think it is for their own purification, maybe for their own purification. Since the sadhus has that characters of mercifulness, here Prabhupada is also saying that this is this because when we are trying to involve with the enjoyment of others, right? These are the opposing elements for somebody. So
Hmm.
from their side, they are merciful in giving Krishna consciousness. They want to give to every living entities, but people take them any they but from the opposite side they'll have enmity because they would not want to take up because they do not want to give up all their sense enjoyment, right? That's right.
Hmm.
So it is from the opposite side. So to understand, my understanding here is Prabhuji that maybe these situations also will keep the sadhus because tolerance also because we have seen Jesus Christ also crucified. Haridas Thakur has also been crucified. Haridas Thakur also being beaten up in the 21 marketplaces and all, right? So Nityananda Prabhu also. So Nityananda Prabhu is Lord himself. We cannot say he has some past karma and all, but it is it is actually these devotees are being glorified actually. When such incidents happen, devotees are glorified, and in that way, the many people get attracted to this process of Krishna consciousness. If you see, when the Jagai and Madai also are most fallen souls, right? Most fallen souls. So that Leela that which happened, right? So when they delivered after this all incidents, when they delivered Jagan Madai, all the all the all the people could understand after this Chaitanya Leela, all the people could understand that such a degraded that low graded can be delivered, then it gives actually hope to everyone, and so it's a Leela actually. It can be a kind of Leela also for us, for a living entities like us, that gives a tolerance also for us actually, Prabhu. So it can be understood in different ways.
Hmm.
For the pure devotees it could be a leela, but to for us it could be, for me, for it could be, we can understand that Lord is trying to make us so much tolerant and all, right?
Hmm.
Tolerant and all. There is some verse in also in Srimad Bhagavatam, right? uh, I'm not remembering that. It's Susukshamanam. It starts something like that. So where the calamities are, everything comes to a devotee, but devotee thinks that this is my previous this thing. So I had to just God is so kind to me because I was actually I was actually uh, I had to get more of such suffering actually, but God is so merciful on me, is giving little suffering to me. That's the way the devotee thinks and go forward and all. Even Kunti Maharani says so much of the problems, or so much of these things comes to them, calamities comes to them, but they in that situation what they think, that I am eligible for more of pains, but Lord is so kind and just trying to give less kind of what we said, inconvenience to me. That in that way, that should be the attitude of the that should be attitude of the the persons who are in Krishna consciousness, initial Krishna, in neophyte devotees and all.
Hmm.
That should be our aim probably. But yeah, it could be understood in two ways actually. For the pure devotees, actually, it could be a lila for us actually to purify ourselves.
Okay. Okay.
That
Thank you,
is
Prabhu.
my that is my understanding. Yeah. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
और
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thanks so much.
क्या प्रवीण प्रभु जी कुछ क्वेश्चन पूछ रहे क्या सर? थोड़ा पीछे से आवाज नहीं आ रहा है प्रभु, सॉरी.
Prabhuji,
You are
yeah,
adding something? Yeah.
Yeah, Prabhuji, yeah, that's why I'm saying, I think Prabhupada also said that, see, when we are progressing in bhakti, or we want to engage other people also, so there are so many envious peoples are there. So always they are enemy for such peoples.
Right. Yes, Prabhuji, we also come across these situations many times, right? We see many such situations when we try to do Harinam, or when we try to invite somebody to the programs, or any festivals, or even when we try to do book distributions. We also come across so many situations actually where people are envious because of their conditioning. They don't want to accept the Krishna consciousness and all. There are many such opposing elements. Even we come across Prabhu. Yes. Thank you for adding, Prabhu. Yeah.
Wonderful class, Prabhuji. Very, very nice explanation. Thank you, Prabhuji, for your association.
Hare Krishna. No, just repeating what is being said. We are trying to repeat that also, Prabhuji. It's all Prabhupads and all Maharaj. And yeah. Any more questions? Yeah, Lilananda Prabhuji is there, Prabhuji. Lilananda Prabhuji, are you in the situation to speak, Prabhuji? Are any questions? Anybody?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you for your wonderful class. All these qualities. In this, the main, I think main quality should be to be associated with Krishna. When we associate with Krishna and his pure devotees, naturally this qualities gets imbibed in us. Is my understanding correct, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji. Is if I want you to explain this verse in one word, from this 21 to 24, it's all about the characteristics or good qualities of sadhu or a devotee, right? We are trying to understand we are trying to find out who is sadhu or a devotee, because we want to take the association, right? Why we want to take the association? Because we are in this material world, and we are suffering, right? We are suffering. We know that we are suffering. So when we want to overcome this suffering, we have to take the association of somebody. So we want to take the association of sadhus. So to recognize who is the sadhu, these characteristics will help us. Or these qualities when we find in somebody, right, that will help us to recognize he is a sadhu. Then what we do is we try to take association, right? When we try to take association, then these qualities of sadhu will come to us, right? Like Srila Prabhupada gives the example of iron rod. When it is contacted with heat, right? When it is contacted heat, all the properties of fire comes to this iron rod. So this fire is more or less becomes this iron rod becomes more or less a fire. So all the properties of the fire are being acquired by this iron rod. So similarly, when we try to associate with these devotees or the sadhus, then we get these good characters. So good characters. So here the Prabhupada was also saying in the purport, mentioning about demigods. So demigods are having these characteristics. So with all the good characteristics, because they are always in line with the scriptures. They are always they are helping the Lord. Actually, they are in line with scriptures. They are helping the Lord in these activities. That's why there is also one example which is given, right? Prahlad Maharaj says, right? Prahlad Maharaj says in one of the situation, Prahlad Maharaj says to his father, actually, Hiranyakashipu. So Hiranyakashipu asked, where you are getting all this energy from? Huh? Where you are getting all this energy from? So that's the way Hiranyakashipu asked him. So Prahlad Maharaj says, I am getting all this energy from where you are getting. But here we can understand that a devotee understand the where he is getting all these energies or resources from, and he is trying to be more. He understand this, and he is trying to be, what we say, Prabhuji, I'm not getting that word. So he is trying to be in line with that, and he doesn't want after acquiring all this, he doesn't have anything say this is mine and all, right? So he's more I'm missing that word actually. So yeah, so when we are getting all these qualities also, we should know that gratitude actually. So difference between the devotee and this Hiranyakashipu, a demon, is the gratitude. Prahlad Maharaj knows, Prahlad Maharaj, our devotee of the Lord, knows, and where he is getting all this from, and then because that's why he is actually having gratitude. But Hiranyakashipu knows he got all the powers from the demigods, but he doesn't have any gratitude. So that is the difference between the devotee and a demon, right? Devotee, demon, and the demigod and all. So that is what. So from this we can these are the characteristics of the sadhu, Prabhuji. So we'll get these characteristics when we take the association. This is about association. So in the previous verse, actually the Dehuti is asking Kapila Dev. Kapila Dev is expansion of Krishna. So is asking the Supreme Lord. So how I am materially entangled. So how to come out of this? So the Kapila Dev is giving the solution. So attachment is not avoided, right? So we have to attach this in this material world. We have to be attached. You have to be attached to your son, or you have to be attached to property, or you have to be attached to be anything. So attachment, giving up attachment is not possible. So attachment to a worldly things is a situation, or attachment to the attachment to the sadhu. So for this previous verse, the attachment to sadhu is the best actually, because the association of the sadhu will give the Krishna consciousness. For to recognize this sadhu, these are the characters. Hope this
Yes.
clarifies your.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Yeah.
Are there any more questions or any additions? Hare Krishna, Prabhuji and Mataji.
Okay.
So,
Thank you, Akinchana Priya Prabhuji. Thank you for the class. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavad Pranam. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Santosh Adhyatha Prabhuji. And sorry for the delay. Actually, there was a power cut and all. So, yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you all devotees for
thank you so much,
joining.
Prabhuji.
Thank you all for devotees for joining. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Mancha
Kalpatarubhasya kripa sindhu
Kalpa
Patitanam Pavane
Vaishnavyo
Vaishnavya
Namo
Ananta Koti Vaishnava.
Namo.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.